Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our first webinar of Bluegrass Gives 2026. In this one, we're covering Registration 101. So just really the basics from a high level of Bluegrass Gives and what it is. My name is Lauren Parsons. I'm with Bluegrass Community Foundation. I'm the VP of Communications, and I've been managing Bluegrass Gives since I started at BGCF in 2019. Also in the room, we have Emily Malloy, who is our MightyCause account manager. So she's here to help handle any questions in the chat or in the Q&A that I may not know the answer to yet. So I'm really happy that she has joined us for the webinar. So if you have questions, you can drop them in the Q&A. Our shared agenda for today, just a little bit about BGCF, a little bit about Bluegrass Gives, how to register, and then the next steps. Just a little bit about Bluegrass Community Foundation. Our mission is to build vibrant, generous, equitable, and engaged communities in Central and Appalachia, Kentucky. We have been around since 1967. Right now, we steward over $330 million in charitable assets across 900 charitable funds. So we do a lot of different things. We have these charitable funds. We're sort of like a charitable bank. We also work with nonprofits and charitable folks across our community. I like to say people don't really give to us, they give through us. So all of those charitable assets, there might be legacy gifts, endowments, things like that flow through us to the nonprofit community. We don't have FY26 stats yet, but in FY25, we facilitated 22 million in charitable gifts. About Bluegrass Gives. This is an online giving campaign that builds community and makes donating to nonprofits easy and fun. We have been hosting Bluegrass Gives since 2011 with our partner, Smiley Pete Publishing. And since then, we've helped local nonprofits raise $29 million. And it launches annually on Giving Tuesday. The fun fact is we started doing this in our community even before Giving Tuesday was a thing. So that's really exciting to know. So basically, this is a collective giving campaign that has raised millions of dollars, mobilizes thousands of donors every year in support of hundreds of local nonprofits. Why do we do this? So our mission is to build generosity in our region. So we want to celebrate and grow that generosity. We want to help fuel a stronger nonprofit system, whether that is fundraising, whether that's capacity building, giving nonprofits the tools they need to run a giving campaign, and then also, raise lots of money for nonprofits to strengthen our communities. What is new in 2026? We have a new giving platform. As I said, Emily is here and she is with MightyCause. We switched to MightyCause this year. Really super excited about all that giving platform has to offer, including a faster electronic payout for you. We heard you all the way that we've had to run it in the past. Checks didn't go out to the following year. This year, they will go out a couple weeks after the giving day, which is really exciting. And then we're also going to provide additional training opportunities. All these things I will touch on as we go through the webinar, but just wanted to highlight those really quickly. Just some of our impact, highlighting what happened last year. So last year was our biggest collective giving campaign ever. We had 235 nonprofits participating, which is so exciting. As I said, I've been with Bluegrass Gives, used to be the Good Giving Challenge, since 2019. I think that first year we had like 113 nonprofits. So it's just about doubled. Total raise has also just about doubled. Last year, the community donated $3.14 million to those 235 nonprofits, which is so exciting. As I said, our 15-year total is $29 million. The average raise per nonprofit last year was $12,038. The average gift size was $160. The total number of gifts was just under 12,500, not dollars, 12,500 total gifts. And then the most money raised in an hour was $286,000, which is so incredible. Last year was the first year we went down to just one giving day. We're going to be doing that again when we had early giving and the site was open, but we really focused all those matches and prizes in one day. So that just shows you how much people were giving in the morning on that day. So that's super exciting. And then I thought this was also interesting. I wanted to give a breakdown. So we had that number of just over $12,000 being the average that nonprofits raise. But I got some questions about how that works. Because I had a group, it was their first year. They were a smaller nonprofit, all volunteer run. They were in that small nonprofit category. So they were like, oh, well, we raised like half of that. So there are 15, basically in Clark County, there were 15 nonprofits that at the end of the day had a 3-for-1 match on all their funds raised. So that 12,000 includes them. So I did this breakdown. So I excluded them just to do a little bit of average. So the average raised is $9,515. For small organizations, the average was $6,456. For medium, you can see that is $11,635. And then for large, that is right on that $12,000 mark. So I see a question, how are people raising such a large amount? So we're going to talk about, there are lots of great tactics that you all can use to help drum up those donations. A lot of these groups that are so successful, I know that they get their board heavily involved from the get-go. Like as soon as you register, you need to let your board know. You need to have them help build your communications network, things like that. We will sort of talk about those strategies later, but there are definitely some strategies that these successful nonprofits are using that are definitely easy to replicate for your organization. So we will talk about those in subsequent webinars. And also we're going to have more training opportunities for you this year to sort of learn those techniques. So I just wanted to share this breakdown because I think there were some nonprofits who were kind of like down on their performance, but I actually thought for a first time to raise almost $7,000 is great. I mean, that's $7,000 you didn't have before. So I just wanted to share that information just to kind of give a deeper dive into the average raised. So the other thing is that we have these cause areas. We divide all the nonprofits into these, I think it's like 8 categories. They're also searchable by category, by region on the website to give. So it's really easy to find those nonprofits to donate to. So the mechanics of Bluegrass Gives, like how it works, how donations work, we're just going to jump into that really quickly. So one of the best parts about Bluegrass Gives is you get kind of your own little mini fundraising page. So you'll have this fundraising page that you will create when you register. It has your own URL. You can share that out with your donors, with prospective donors, have your board members send it out, share it on social media, and your emails, all that good stuff. So you'll have this donate button here. People can create fundraisers for you. As I mentioned, that will be in a subsequent webinar hosted by MightyCause. They'll talk about how to do those peer-to-peer fundraising. But you'll have this like fundraising page, and this is just a screenshot. It doesn't go all the way down, but you'll have opportunities to share information about what your nonprofit does, share media, share photos, videos, all those good things. And then when folks click on that donate button, they'll make a donation to your cause. They can give to one organization, many organizations at once. And in fact, most donors do give to multiple organizations during Bluegrass Gives. So I don't think I had that stat on that other slide, but the great thing about a collective giving campaign, it is a great way to be discoverable to new donors. About 1 in 4 donors last year gave to a new nonprofit for the first time. So that's the thing. It's like online shopping. Once you get in there, it's really fun to just add more donations to your cart, check out all at once. You get one tax receipt, super simple. And how donations work. In order to be eligible for BGCF matches and prizes, and I'm not going to dive into those matches and prizes on this webinar, we'll do another webinar about the BGCF matches and prizes, but we do work really hard all year round to provide site-wide matches and prizes for nonprofits who participate in this. Those donations must be made online via the website on Giving Tuesday, and there'll be specific parameters around each match or prize that we'll share at another webinar, but the donations have to be made online on Giving Tuesday within those parameters to be eligible for matches and prizes. You can give with credit, debit card, ACH, or a BGCF donor advised fund. And we're working on this year. We have like a handful of donors every year who want to give with their IRA QCD so that's for donors like 70 and a half and older. We're working on sort of that process, and we'll have more details to come this fall as soon as we get that done. But I'm excited to offer that opportunity this year for those donors who are eligible to give that way. BGCF during Bluegrass Gives, we cannot accept cash, paper checks, stock gifts, other commercial donor advised funds. So if you have donors who may have like a Fidelity fund or a Charles Schwab or any of those, we can't accept those donations at this time through the site. We use our own donor advised funds because we know the balance. We're able to approve that gift. We make that fund transfer. That's how we do it. However, this year you will be able to enter offline donations, and those will go towards your fundraising total. So they'll show up on that total, but they won't be eligible for those matches and prizes that we offer. They might be able to qualify for your own matches and prizes. That's up to you and your donors, but they will add to your fundraising total. So that's an exciting perk this year. And all these donations are 100% tax deductible, which means no quid pro quo. So you can't say like, if you give $50, you get a tote bag. If you give $100, you get like a t-shirt. You can't do that because you'd have to deduct the value of the gift and all that. So all donations this year will be receipted by the MightyCause Foundation. So that's different in past years. The gift has come to BGCF and then we pay you. Now those donations go to the MightyCause Foundation. So that's who their receipt will be from. And they will get that via email immediately upon donation. So that's really exciting. You don't have to worry about any of that admin with those donations. There are fees associated with these gifts that are made online during Bluegrass Gives. I feel like donors are more used to seeing these fees now than they did when we first started. These are super competitive. The credit card fee is basically 5% plus 30 cents. The ACH fee is 2.8% plus $3. That's why there's a $100 minimum on those gifts to make that sort of more equal to the credit card donation. And then if you have donors who give with their donor advised fund at BGCF, there's no fee associated with those gifts. And the good news is donors can cover fees at checkout. And in fact, most do, like 85+% do cover those fees at checkout. So I think that'll be a box that's like automatically checked for them at checkout. So they have to go in and like uncheck that box, but most donors do cover those fees. So how will you get paid? After you raise all your funds on Bluegrass Gives, bggives.org during the campaign, you'll receive an automatic payout from MightyCause by the end of December 2026. And I just say by the end of December, it will probably be like 2 weeks after the giving day. It's just according to their payout. They do make those payouts bi-monthly. And this is why you'll see in the registration requirements that we'll go through next. This is why adding your bank information is required at registration to get that payout. And then any match or prize money that you receive from those BGCF matches and prizes, we will send you a separate check in January of next year, kind of like we used to do with all the funds, but just for those matches and prizes. And so with that check, you'll get a letter, just like you've always have, that has any, like a line item of any of those match or prize dollars that you get. The other great thing about this giving site is as donations come in, you will see those donors immediately. You will see their name, their email, all the contact information that you would need for them to steward them in the future. You'll see that in your portal. Unless those donors choose to give anonymously, then you won't see that. So the nice thing is you do not need to send them, as I said, a charitable receipt, but you need to thank them. So you'll be able to go in, you can thank donors as those donations come in. You can, lots of groups do this different ways. It's whatever works for your organization, but you will want to export this data and add them to your stewardship plan. Like, do it as soon as the giving day is over. Don't wait. Fold them into your existing stewardship plans. We'll do a webinar on this, like after the giving day is over, to really remind folks that this is an important step. We do not send you a donor report. You need to export those and you need to save that information. And however you do, if you add them to your CRM, you can make a note that they gave through Bluegrass Gifts, but don't send them another charitable receipt via your CRM. But you'll be able to see all that there in your portal. And just some of those benefits of participating in Bluegrass Gives. This might be repetitive, but you do get that fundraising page. That's that customizable page on bggives.org. If you go there now, I think you can see some of the nonprofits that have completed their registration, but you can see all of those nonprofits will be all on that site. You'll get your own page that you'll be able to share that link to. We have this new platform. Again, Emily's going to do a webinar. I think there's one in August and one in September that talk about different features of the site, how to update your page. There's actually a CRM function within it. You can send emails from it. They have really great features that we're excited to unleash this year, I guess. Those fast payouts. So you're going to get a faster electronic payout for your funds raised, and then training. I'm super excited. If you already go to bggives.org and then that nonprofit toolkit page, you can see we have a couple of nonprofit training opportunities already lined up. We're also going to offer 2 in-person training sessions in like September, early October. So we're sort of diverting some funds that we've used for some general marketing, and I really want to invest that back in the nonprofits this year to help you get the tools and the know-how that you need to run a successful campaign. You'll also have all these resources. Emily has already dropped a link. Well, that's the nonprofit toolkit, but I think there's also a link there. If you scroll down to the MightyCause resources, they have so many tips, sample emails. We'll send out social media content that you can customize. You'll get logos, different things, and lots of fundraising tips. We do a ton of publicity for Bluegrass Gives, usually starting in like November. We go really hardcore. We do media promotion, emails, social media. We do paid campaigns for that. So we really work hard. We promote the campaign generally, but then it's on you all to promote yourselves to your donors and networks as well. If you participate in Bluegrass Gives, you do have the eligibility for those Bluegrass Gives matches and prizes that we line up for you all that will be available on Giving Tuesday. And then just the power of collective giving. As I said, 1 in 4 donors who are giving during Bluegrass Gives are giving to a new nonprofit for the first time. It's just a great way to raise your visibility, expose yourself to new donors. And we think that like a rising tide lifts all boats. We just really want to encourage more generosity in our region. I think the capacity and the limit for generosity here, there's no cap on that. And I would love to see, we raised 3.14 million last year. I'd love to see that increase year after year. I think it's possible. And this is one way to just make giving, the importance of nonprofits in our community. We just really want to highlight that. I see a question. What category is receiving the most donations? I don't know. I actually haven't tracked that. That's an interesting question. I can do a little digging. I mean, it's all just so very different. All of those categories, I mean, this sounds like lip service, but I think all the categories are very important. They all do very different things, and they all have different donor base and missions. It just depends on who's supporting those and how much they're giving. But I don't know offhand which category receives the most donations, but I could dig into some past data for sure. Just getting a little bit into the registration requirements for this year. So the first thing is you do need to be a 501c3 public charity according to the IRS, the Internal Revenue Code, or you need to be fiscally sponsored by an organization in good standing with the IRS. And the great thing about MightyCause is they have that IRS database already loaded into their site. It updates monthly, I think. And so you will know when you register, you'll see that if you're an IRS 501c3, you'll populate in that list. In the past, we had to do our own homework and then we had to do it again before the giving day just to make sure that nobody had lapsed in that time. It does happen every now and again, but that information is updated monthly on the MightyCause website. So that's fantastic. Just a continuation of one. If you're with an institution of faith, you can participate if you're fundraising for like secular programming, such as like a food pantry, other thing that is operated from the organization. And then same with like religious schools. You just have to be fundraising for educational purposes. We do not endorse the missions of every nonprofit that participates in Bluegrass Gives. However, we will not let organizations participate if they are identified by various due diligence tools that we use as participating in hateful or terroristic activities. So like, what does this mean? One thing we use is that Southern Poverty Law Center website. They have a map of the United States. You can dive in, drill down into different states, different cities, and it'll show you organizations that they identify as one of these, hate or terroristic activity organizations. And I will say in Kentucky, it's like very few. There's a handful. It's like Proud Boys and neo-Nazi groups. Our sponsors of our match money, they would not be giving to those organizations. We do not want them participating in Bluegrass Gives. That's not what we're about. It doesn't align with our mission. So this has never happened that we've had to turn a group away for this, but we're just putting it out there in advance. You never know. So requirement 2, those organizations do need to be located in our service area. Once again, that is because our match sponsors are local. They want their charitable dollars to be reinvested back into our communities. So here is a list of the counties that we serve. There's a requirement that I've listed on our website that I've got some questions about, where I say a PO box is not enough to establish this. So that would be like if you're a statewide organization and all you have in like Fayette County, for example, is a PO box, but I can't find anything on your website, on your IRS site, on GuideStar, things like that show that you're in our service area, then that won't work. If you have questions, reach out to me and I can consult our general counsel. We can get back to you. But for the most part, it's one of these 16 counties in our service area. There are other statewide giving days that you can participate in. Kentucky Gives is in May. That is statewide, or we can help you find a community foundation or other collective giving campaign that might touch on that. But we don't really have a lot of issues with this. But if you have questions, reach out to me and we can give you an answer. Requirement 3, you do need to submit your annual solicitation registration with the Kentucky Attorney General. This is required by state law. In the past, we have required that you upload proof of this. This year, we are taking you at your word, but you are on notice that you do need to be doing this. As I said, this is required by Kentucky state law. That is the statute. You can look at it. All you need to do is to send your 990 to the Kentucky Attorney General's office annually. Your CPA may already be doing that. I don't know, but you might want to check their list. I think in our email that we have sent out, there's a link where you can check that. You might want to check it. It's just best practice. This is for consumer protection so that it protects against fraud. So it's a place where consumers, anyone who's receiving these solicitations from nonprofits, they can go and verify that that nonprofit is registered to ask for money. What did I do? Oh, I accidentally clicked on that website. Well, here we go. If you can still see this is that statute. You see here, 990 IRS determination letter, bylaws. This is if you haven't done it before. Most of you, I'm sure, have. And then once you get on that list for the first time, every year, you just need to send your 990. I'm going to go back to this, though. I really want to dive into that. So that is required. The fee is $250. You pay that online with a credit card during registration. If you have a fund at BGCF, I actually haven't talked to Emily about this. This is a holdover from last year. I'm assuming this still works. If you have a fund at BGCF, email Tori@bgcf.org and copy me and ask if you can have that $250 transferred. And then I can go in and I guess update that on the site on the back end. But you do need to pay this $250 registration fee. I think if you're participating in Give 828, which is a separate fundraiser that we offer for Black serving nonprofits in Fayette County, I think that fee is different. And there's a question in the registration form. But for everyone else, it is $250. And then all these requirements must be satisfied by September 4th. And I would just say, I do think we are offering late registration this year. It might be open a couple weeks after this, but the fee will go up by $50 and you might miss out on some of these additional in-person training opportunities. So you're going to want to get this registration done by September 4th. Somebody asked, is that a transfer from an endowment fund? I mean, unless you have a payable, your, what's that called? Unless you're able to like pull out that much money. I think if it's just like an endowment, a non-endowed fund, I think that'd be easier. I can check on that. Thanks. Some key dates for 2026, as I said, registration, that soft close is September 4th. Early giving will be November 24th through November 30th. That just means the site will be open for donations. There will be no matches and prizes from BGCF during that time. But I did see last year, several nonprofits had an early giving match that was provided to them by a donor. So they were doing really well even before the main event, which is Giving Tuesday, December 1. And that main event, again, our Giving Tuesday matches and prizes will be 6 a.m. to midnight on that day. It's not like a true 24-hour giving day. I think that's like 18 hours. So, because I don't want to be up all night in my, working in my PJs or whatever. I feel like 6 a.m. is a very dignified start time. So, this site will remain open for donations until Friday, December 4th as well. All right, so just diving into how to register. And I'm just going to show screenshots. We're not going to get into the site just now, but these are just some screenshots of what to do and what to know. So the first thing is organizations do need to register to participate. So if you participated last year, that registration doesn't carry over. If you have a fund at BGCF, you don't get automatic registration. All organizations must register to participate in Bluegrass Gives. That is an annual registration. As I've already mentioned, MightyCause has the IRS information associated with your organization's profile. You are not required to upload proof of your GuideStar Gold Seal. We've required that in the past to verify that you're in good standing with the IRS or your AG registration this year. And the main difference with registration this year, but besides all that, is that there are two parts to registration. One is completing that registration form, and then the second is completing the to-do list. Okay, so the first step is you're going to log in to the site. If you do not have a login, you'll create one. So since we are on a new platform, whatever login you used for whatever site we were on last year, what were we on last year? GiveGab, Bonterra, that login obviously won't work, I don't think, on this site. So you might need to create a new login. So once you log in, then you're going to click on register here. And that will take you to the registration page. This is a screenshot of the bottom portion, but you're going to find your organization. You can search for your organization by the name or by the EIN. That's probably more accurate. If you're a returning user, like if you have done Louisville's Giving Day, they use MightyCause, so you might be there, or you might have participated in another MightyCause giving event. Your organizations will be there. If you're new and you don't have any results when you search by EIN, you're going to click down there, create it now. So you'll have a whole form, and I will go over to that and show you the form, but there's some questions you need to enter in. And this is just a lot of information for our purposes. We need to know your mailing address, sort of some, I don't want to say demographic information about your organization, but maybe like what your cause area is, what your primary county is. If you're volunteer led, we're just curious about that. And then you can either, once you fill out all those questions, you can save and finish later, or you complete the form and continue to, it will take you to the payment. If you have any issues with finding your organization, with creating your profile, with being added to, maybe your organization's in there, but you're not added as a user, you're going to email support@mightycause.com. And I will say shout out to Emily. She has been like, please share this email wherever. We want to have this available to offer support for your nonprofits. We've been with giving platforms that did not want to give their support email out, which is crazy, but shout out to them. They are going to be super helpful to you in getting added to your organization to help establish your organization, all that. So once you have completed that registration form, once you have submitted your fee, you're going to be taken to your organization page. And then you can see here, there's going to be this like to-do list up here. It only requires 3 things. And all these 3 things must be completed before you can accept donations and participate in the Giving Day. You need to complete your organization page. So that means you need to update your logo. Oh, here it is. You need to update your logo, upload a banner image, and complete your about section. You can update this information at any point leading up to Bluegrass Gives. I'm sure even during Bluegrass Gives. This is just to get you started. So don't stress too much. It doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to be exactly how you want it for Bluegrass Gives, but you do need to get that started. Because we've had on other platforms, people register, and then even on the Giving Day, they haven't updated their logo, and it's just like a generic gray square. So you need to complete your organization page. You also need to complete your EFT setup. So to do that, you will, I think, add your bank information, like the account number, the routing number, and then you do need to upload either a canceled check or a letter from your bank. And again, that is reviewed by MightyCause. So if you have any questions about that, you will just email support@mightycause.com. And that we are requiring this because, as I said, they are paying you directly up to 2 weeks after the giving day is over. And so we're requiring all that to be done at registration. So we're not scrambling to get it done right before Giving Tuesday. And then your thank you page. That is just a thank you message that will be sent to your donors. You can customize, you can add a photo. Those are the 3 things you need to do to complete step 2 of registration. And again, the thank you page, you can edit that later, but we just want to go ahead and for you to get that taken care of. If you are logged into your platform, you will be able to see, it will be super clear to you if you have not completed step 2. Like here, I was logged in, I created a profile for BGCF. We're not participating. This is just set up as an example. You can see here, I have that red dot by the to do. I'm not able to accept donations because my registration is incomplete. It's pending because I haven't, at that time, I didn't have the EFT completed. So, and I think that your registration will be pending until all 3 of those things are done. And I think it updates automatically to you're fully registered. Yes, Emily has confirmed that the registration status will update automatically with your progress. So that's great. So that means I don't have to go in and check those automatically. I think there were a couple the first day. I got a little too eager and I went in and approved, and I realized they didn't have the EFT done. So then I had to go in and put them back to pending and then email them. So that's great. As soon as you get everything done, you're going to be fully registered and ready to go. As I mentioned, there are some resources from MightyCause. And again, I will share these slides and these links out. They have lots of articles and tools and things for you to peruse through for tips and how-tos. There's also that email, support@mightycause.com. And then that toolkit, I think Emily dropped it in the Q&A because I can't figure out how to turn on the chat, where we have, I can just click on that. Oh, I guess it's not an active link. That is. So we will share things as they become available. We'll post those on the toolkit. So once you're completely registered, what's next? So watch your inbox. We will email probably at least once a week about updates, about training opportunities, different tips of things you should be doing, sort of to-do lists for you. Once your registration is complete, I think you'll get an email from us that also has a link to add anybody else on your team who might need to be getting those emails about the campaign. So we automatically pull the emails of the admin users on your site, on the MightyCause site. But if you have somebody else who maybe doesn't need to be an admin user, but like you want them to know about any updates we're sharing, you can add those to our mailing list. So just keep an eye on your inbox. And if you're registered and you're not getting emails, let me know. Maybe they're getting caught in your spam or something, or maybe, I don't know, maybe MailChimp won't send them to you. I don't know. We do use MailChimp. So sometimes and if it's like an email address that's like frontdesk@organization.org, anything that's like role based, they kind of are weird about. So just let us know. And please read those emails. I try not to spam. I try to share only important, good information. So please read your emails, just watch your inbox and get ready for training. On this nonprofit toolkit site, we already have some training opportunities available and set in stone there. Tuesday, August 11th, there'll be a webinar that Emily is hosting about the platform walkthrough, like how to use a platform, how to update your profile, things like that. She'll also do another webinar on September 15th that's about those peer-to-peer fundraiser pages. This is a in-person training workshop that I'm going to bring in 2020 strategy consultants. They're based out of Louisville, and they're going to do like a half-day in-person training, doing a deeper dive on those peer-to-peer fundraising, how to set a fundraising goal. I'm really excited about offering that to you all this year. I'll have a Matches and Prizes webinar in mid-October. We're also going to add a social media workshop as well. So I really wanted to shift just a few funds from general like billboards and invest that back in the nonprofits, because I really do think you'll be able to use these tools, these tips year round, not just with Bluegrass Gives. But just keep an eye here. This is the nonprofit, the toolkit. And then these are those resources from MightyCause. If you have any questions about how to do some basic things with the site, just take a look at this. And oh, somebody asked what the registration link was. If you go to bggives.org, it's up here in this header. It's right here as well. And then you can see here, I have those requirements again. There are some, FAQs. If you're fiscally sponsored, it tells you what you need to do. If you're a new admin, it tells you what you need to do. So this is an example of what that registration form looks like. Just some basic information, primary contact person, email address, just some questions we use like annual revenue. You'll list what's on your 990. And that's how we categorize nonprofits into those small, medium, and large categories. Just some information we're curious about. Your primary cause area, what your goal is. And then this is the question that I was talking about. If you're in Give 828 Lex, you're going to click yes. And then you're going to confirm which organization you're with. If you don't know what it is, if you're not familiar with Give 828 Lex, then that means you're not participating. So that would be a no. And then you would just continue that registration. Again, sit tight for those BGCF matches and prizes. We will announce those in like mid-October. We're still working on those, trying to line all those up. But in the meantime, start securing your own. The organizations that have the most success also secure their own matches. And we will talk about this in another webinar as well. But maybe pull your board members together and say, hey, are you all doing, if you have your board, if they have to do, mandatory gifts to your organization every year, maybe pull those donations and have that as a match to incentivize more giving during the campaign. And Emily will get into that in another webinar about how you list those matches on your giving page to illustrate that you have these opportunities to really maximize the donations that come in. And go ahead and start planning your strategy and get your board on board. The organizations, I know somebody asked, how do we raise more money? How do those organizations raise more money? They are the ones that have their board on board from day one. I think a lot of people have asked questions throughout, and I've tried to keep my eye on them, but are there any other questions that I haven't touched on? This is, again, kind of just like a broad, overarching webinar about sort of what Bluegrass Gives is, how to register, and we'll really get into those strategies and tactics for you to have a really successful campaign in the next one and then moving forward. And if you are curious, you can check out Emily and I might be able to put together a list of other giving campaign sites that are on MightyCause that you might want to take a look at just to see, like Give for Good Louisville, their giving day is earlier than ours. It's in September, but you could go on and look at their site if you want to see like what nonprofit pages look like or just get some ideas. There's plenty of other giving days that you can look at and get ideas. Panhandle Gives is one. They're based in Texas that I've worked with their administrator to share ideas. A lot of these groups are great with information sharing. I mean, we really feel like more generosity helps everyone. So don't be nervous about Googling other like Giving Tuesday campaigns or whatever and looking for some ideas. I'm not seeing any new questions here. So I might go ahead. If you need to reach out to me, here's my contact information. If you are not already on our registration list for Bluegrass Gives, that's just like the general registration information. You can scan this QR code here and it will sign you up. And then again, these are those MightyCause resources. Be sure to take a look at those. There's a lot of good information. So you can go ahead and sort of wrapping your mind around how to formulate your campaign for this year. But I'm super excited to get started. I can't believe it's already July. I think the countdown for, what is it? 4.5 months or something. That's crazy. It'll be here before we know it. So I'm really excited to get started. I'm excited to get you all onboarded. I'm excited to be working with MightyCause this year. So I hope that it is a great campaign for everyone. I hope you have an easy time getting registered. Reach out to us if that's not the case. But I'm going to go ahead and sign off on this webinar. and share this with you in the next week. And I hope to see your organizations all registering on bggives.org and signing up for those future webinars. So once again, I thank you for your time today, and I look forward to a successful Bluegrass Gives 2026.